the work group. Yes?
Is there a process for having these interests in priorities?
Is there a process to have the interest in priorities?
Yeah, drinking water is going to take priority over research and education. Which interests take priority over others?
We have not established some type of priority in that respect. We don't. If you look at, you could look at the broad categories and look at as far as the designated uses of the waters of the state. First and foremost for us is aquatic life use. So if you're protecting aquatic life, a lot of the time you're protecting drinking water as well, because aquatic life will have a lower threshold than humans. So something's going to affect a fish before it affects us. As far as, for example, a metal, we can have a lot of copper, but fish can't take that much copper. Yes?
I was wondering if you all had considered a strategy for distributing a survey so that you could open it up to get more input from more stakeholders, and then that way you could have a manageable group of 20 stakeholders that was able to then disseminate the information from a survey similar to what Governor Beebe's doing with an energy plan, where he's identified, I think, 100 or 200 stakeholders from around the state in categories real similar to what you've established there, but to go ahead and send out a survey to get a broader sampling from the stakeholders in those different categories, and then bring that information back and allow a smaller group to filter through that information and glean some insights and what the establishing priorities for the channel.
That's good. We haven't considered that. I would be interested to find out more about that. We are. The one thing I do think about when that would be a very open, transparent a process. I think that I hear you talking about. We are somewhat constrained by time in getting all this to EPA and going through that lengthy process that we have according to the Clean Water Act we need to carry out, and through state statute that we need to carry out. But that's an interesting point. I think that I'd like to talk with you later about that. I'm not quite sure. I understand. I hear what you're saying as far as the steps, but I'd like to know more about that. That'd be interesting. Thank you. Okay, what I'd like to do is go ahead and thanks for all those questions on the front end. I think that was very helpful to have everyone hear your questions. I think they're all really good questions about the process, and you all make very good points. What I'd like to do is go ahead and start the cards and grab everyone's input, and we're going to record that. And we have staff that's going to go ahead and collect that on paper as well. Steve, did you have anything to add?
Yeah, I was going to.
Okay.
A couple of clarifying points. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for being here tonight. My name's Steve Drown. I'm the Chief of the Water Division at ADQ. We really appreciate your input and your participation in this. Your questions and your comments so far have been very informative, and this is the kind of input we need going forward. But let me add a little more information that may help clarify some issues. The stakeholder process at this point hasn't been determined exactly whom is going to be on there. We're going to have to work those logistics out. But please understand that the public is always going to have an opportunity to participate in this. What we envision as we start this process is we're going to try to post everything on our website as we're moving forward. So consistently there should be updates on the website as we move forward that you can check and provide input. At the end of the process, when we petition the commission, it will be public noticed and the regulation will be put out for public review and comments. So again, you will have an opportunity to provide your specific concerns and comments to us for us to consider. So I don't want you to think that this is just a locked process, that if you're not one of the 25 or so folks that's going to be selected, you can't participate. That's not the case. So I hope that clarifies a little bit for you. And if you have a question about what I've said, great, let me know and I'll try to answer it.